gosh, on my landlord-tenant matters, my whole legal services team, I got all four of you. Boy, I'm getting to feel more important all the time. Got a whole staff there.
We just wanted to spend the whole morning with you, Judge.
Well, you did pretty well. It's 11 o'clock. That's not too bad. Not too bad. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to my rest of my civil docket.
Sounds good, Judge.
See you next week.
See you next week at 9:30.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry about that, but I think it makes sense. I don't think it's going to screw up for you guys too much, but
I can't say anything because that 9:30 is better than 8:30 because I'm not a morning person. So
and most of the tenants aren't either, so it works out good all the way around. So
we'll see you next week, Judge.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye now. Bye. How about let's see, I've got Genesis Regional Medical versus Brandon Alexander. Anybody in that matter? I see Brandon, Mr. Alexander, you're there. And
yes, Your Honor. Hal Burke, P69068, attorney for Genesis on this case.
Okay, Mr. Burke, you're there. Let's see, what was this? Set for objection. I don't know what it is. Objection of judgment. 7-day order default. Oh, I see. There was a default taken July 26th, it looks like. And Mr. Alexander, it must be your motion to ask me to set aside that default. Is that what,
yes.
what it is?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I guess before we do that, have the two of you talked at all? Would it help if I give you minutes to talk?
No,
Your
we're
Honor.
not going to come to an agreement.
Your Honor, if I may address that directly with you, I've been doing this for a long time, as have you, and I've never, in my opinion, had the unique curse words that were used against me prior to this case being called. So I'm at your, I defer to you. We do have a judgment. I don't know what the objection is, nor do I understand the attitude of this, Mr. Alexander. That being said, I try to resolve every case, including this one. So I defer to you.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Mr. Alexander, and I'm not taking any position, but if there's any inappropriate language being used, that's going to be an issue, okay?
I understand, sir.
Okay. This is, there was a handwritten, I guess, motion filed by you. It says, I, Brandon Alexander, object to all orders regarding this case 1008. I understand that on the day of the hearing, I was unable to make it to court. Sincerely apologize. I appreciate that. The first time Mr. Burke tried suing me for this matter, he no-showed 2 times before the matter was dismissed without prejudice. This matter was settled. I guess the part that gets me says this matter was settled. Why don't we start out with that? What was settled?
Well, he's already sued me for this once, and it was dismissed without prejudice due to him not showing up, which maybe I'm wrong, but I always understood if it's dismissed without prejudice, it's dismissed. This isn't an appeal. This is, I'm trying to be sued twice for the same thing.
Okay. Probably the nomenclature, the phrase without prejudice means that they can refile. So if it was dismissed without prejudice, that means the parties can refile their claim, which is sounds like that's what happened. So
well, how does it come back? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So no, go ahead. So that's kind of where they were allowed to refile if that's what happened in the past.
So they can refile for twice the amount? They just change that amount?
Well, it's a brand new claim. It's a brand new suit. So whatever is in this thing here, I'm not going to look at a prior file that was dismissed without prejudice. So whatever's in this one is the way it is, and we proceed on those facts. And then of course we have the default judgment. Okay. So with the default judgment, what I guess I'm not sure where we're at with that then. It says sounds like you missed your date.
Yes, I showed up a day late.
Your Honor, you granted it July 26th, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay.
And I showed up the day after to court and realized that I made a terrible mistake. I wrote down on 3 separate calendars that I had it on Wednesday. I messed up. And like I said, it cost me dearly because I missed a day of work for nothing. And now I've missed 2 half days of work due to this. So it's really costing me. I'm going to fight this tooth and nail if I can, because I shouldn't be even getting billed. Somebody made a mistake at the hospital. I shouldn't be getting billed. This bill should not be happening. I've never had a lapse in health insurance. I've had 2 surgeries at Genesis since this. Both times I had to go to billing and I owed $100. They never said I owed any other money. I don't get how this is just getting pulled out.
Okay. Let's see. When did you file your motion then? Do you remember? I don't have it.
Myself?
I've got a date. August. Yes. Your
I
motion
filed
is
it the day after the court. Like I said, I showed up to court and there was no court because I missed it by a day. So I walked in and took care of it that day.
Okay. I see a date that you've got on August 10th, 2022. The default was entered July 26th, or at least that's the date the hearing was. Well, 4th.
Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. When I called them that day, when I called them, the lady in the office said I had to wait for it to come in the mail before I could file a 7-day. She said something about a 7-day rule. So as soon as I got that was when I came in. And the reason they had me write it is because they hadn't even received it yet, the default judgment. I received it before you guys did. So that's why they had me hand write everything, because they didn't have a copy of it.
So let's see. So that was it looks like your handwritten note, then the motion is about 15 days after the fact. And I granted a 7-day order for this.
And like I said, when I called, the ladies in the office said that I had to wait till I got it in the mail and then come in and file for the 7-day thing, is what I was told.
Okay, I see a proof of service, Mr. Burke, on your end. Plaintiff certifies that on August 1st, it was served a copy of the default. So we had 7.
It came in the mail.
Okay, yeah, and that's fine. It says it was sent August 1st. Process proof of service by properly addressed envelope. So it came in the mail. That would have been August 8th, 9th, 10th. So you're right on the cusp of being past the 7-day period as well. Would it help? I mean, I hate to, it sounds like too obviously there's not much getting along, but if I give you a chance to talk, Mr. Alexander, if you keep up kind of a calm attitude, I don't mind the two of you talking, but we can get something resolved. If not, I'll just make a decision on the default motion.
To be honest, he does. There is no talking with this gentleman. It's how are you going to pay? And then when I got his office calling me, the ladies, why won't you pay? Why won't you pay your bills? Why won't you pay your bills? Why are you not paying your bills? That's all I'm getting.
Your Honor, we do nothing like that, and we record our phone calls. I'd ask that you just.
I'd ask that you show the recording from when the young lady talked to me.
I'd ask that you rule on the motion. He filed his objection after the 7-day rule.
I did not. I filed it the day I received it in the mail. The day I received it in the mail. And I was in the office. He told me I'll drive there right now and come to the office and speak to the lady, and she'll tell you that I was told to come the day I got that in the mail. And when I received it, you guys had not received it in the office. That's how prompt I was to receiving it. They hadn't even received it yet. They didn't have the piece of paper that I had. They did not even have it in their hands. That's why I had to write it on a blank piece of paper.
Okay, well, for both your sakes, I guess I'll just make a decision. Give me just a minute. I'm going to review the pleadings.
Thank you.
I'll come right back on and make a decision, okay? Just stay right on the monitor. I'll be right back on.
Thank you.
Okay, we go back on the record with Genesis Regional Medical Center versus Brandon and Alexander. Had a chance to review the pleadings. I did have some, Mr. Brook, are you there? Burke, are you there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Sorry. I just want to make sure I had both of you on here. I had some concerns that it was Mr. Alexander's written objection to the entry of the default judgment was not timestamped. So I had some concerns, but it did come in, Mr. Alexander, for your sake, came in the same time, August 10th, 2022, after discussion with my clerks. That's the date that you filed your objection. The next step, though, is with the setting aside the default judgment. You have to show me, Mr. Alexander, that there's been some type of good cause to not enter the default judgment that was given. All you've stated in your response is that you were unable to make it to court. I sincerely apologize. It's really not good cause to set aside a default judgment, as well as I have to follow the court rules for everybody. It has to also state a meritorious defense. In your claim, there's been no meritorious defense stated. It just says that tried suing me for this matter is no showed 2 times before the matter was dismissed without prejudice, which we've discussed already, that it was without prejudice. And this matter was settled. I've heard nothing about a settlement that was given at all on this matter. Therefore, based upon the lack of meritorious defense, lack of good cause to set aside the default judgment, the default still stands. I will state, though, Mr. Burke, that I was going to grant his motion. Your 7-day order doesn't give him notice that it was supposed to be filed within the 7 days. He's outside of that 7 days, but given the deficiency on the 7-day order, I decided to grant that part of it, find it, he was within the 7 days that were required for the 7-day order, because you just didn't put him on notice that he had 7 days from that date. Okay. If you look at your notice that you sent with the documentation for him, it just says enclosed, kindly find default. We plan to file against you on the case of, and it's got the case number, but then it says the judge has already verbally granted the judgment. You may object to the ruling, although we cannot give you legal advice. I got to follow the court rules for everybody, and that is deficient. You have to have him on notice that it has to be filed within 7 days. Okay, so that's not in there. You may want to correct that at some point. Okay.
Good advice.
Okay, and other than that, the default judgment still stands. Okay, good luck to both of you. Okay.
Have a great
That's
day.
not cool, Your Honor.
All right, you too. I'm sorry, Mr. Alexander. What?
I said, that's really not cool.
Well, I have
You-
to
there's
follow
no
the court
pro-
rules for everybody. Sir, I've
But
got to follow the court
what
rules for everybody.
paperwork, can he just
Sir,
come
I
out
can't-
and say, I'm not asking, but I'm asking, what evidence
No,
shows that
sir,
I
we're
even
done.
owe that money?
We're done for us. I can't talk to you about the case, okay? I've made my ruling, okay? Good luck.
Well, then can I appeal it? Can you tell me if I
Sure.
have an appeal?
You
I
can
can?
appeal. Get an attorney. Yep, you can appeal. Okay,
So
it's
why
all
is
up to you.
my word taken?
Sir, I'm not going to argue with you. I've told you my decision.
I'm
That's it.
asking a question. I get no choice, no voice,
No,
because I'm not
no-
a lawyer
no
and I don't
questions.
have a law degree.
Right.
I get no voice.
You did.
That's
You had
the
to file
freedom
your
we have as a
objection.
citizen. You're going to treat me
You
as a lesser
filed your-
citizen.
Sir,
You're going to treat me as a lesser citizen because I don't have a law degree. My voice don't matter. You're not
I'm
letting me
telling you,
talk.
get
You're just dismissing me.
Get an attorney. Get an
I
attorney,
will, and I will
Mr.
sue
Alexander.
you for what you're doing.
Okay.
Unfair.
Okay.
Unfair.
Okay.
Unfair,
You
Mr.
can-
Goggins.
you
And
can
you
do
should be
what you need to
ashamed of
do.
yourself. I will,
Mr.
because
Alexander.
you're saying I have less a voice
Well,
because I don't have a degree.
We're all done.
You're
before you
done.
get yourself
I'm
in
not
trouble.
done. I'm not done with